February 25th. We've got 3 eggs in the nesting box, and I just picked one up off the ground. One chicken didn't quite figure it out, but I'm sure they'll get it down. Howdy y'all, today is February 27th. It's rainy, it's not super cold or anything, it's just kind of gross out. So I didn't do too much farm work today, but I am excited to tell you guys that I have my building permit. It's not in hand yet. They're going to email it to me tomorrow. Their office closed, I think, at 4:30 or something. But they said everything was approved. I've paid for it, so all good there. So I'm going to get with my builder tomorrow, let him know that that's all good to go, and then they'll get me on the schedule. So the original plan was the first week of April. We'll see if that's still kind of the timeline they're looking at, but it's a go whenever they're ready to go, so I'm super excited. Today is the last day of February. It's already February 28th. Feels pretty good outside today. I am going to plant my last batch of tomatoes here. I'm going to do the Delicious, which are always good, as in the name. The San Marzano, those are more of a canning tomato that are good for pasta and sauces and things like that. So they're not the tastiest thing to just pick and eat off the vine over some other varieties, but I wanted to add one in there like that just for the variety. They'll still taste good, but you'd rather go for the Delicious straight off the vine and eat that. And then for the San Marzano, you'd want to put that in some pasta or something. It's a little bit of a beefier tomato, so I'm gonna get these going. Tomatoes will be done once I start transplanting them, probably next week sometime, and putting them in the greenhouse. I'll work on starting some other different types of plants. So the results are in on the Americanas feed. I dumped in 3 bags, 150 pounds back in January, and just a couple days ago they were completely out, so it took them 44 days to go through 150 pounds. There's 20 chickens in that coop, so that works out to 3.41 pounds per day for all 20 chickens. And then if you break it down further, it's 0.17 pounds of food per day per chicken, which is under the average. They were never without food. Their feeder was always full. I will say I did have to shake it down a couple times because sometimes it would get stuck up in there. That happened, a handful of times, but overall those chickens aren't eating a bunch, so I mean, that's good. None of them are sick or anything, so that definitely helps the feed bill on them. I have a feeling the buffs over here are going to be quite a bit higher because they are chugging through the food really quick. It seems like the pearl whites, it'll be interesting to see. The Americanas weren't laying when I first started feeding them, and then they've almost all started laying now, so I'm sure that kind of factors in a little bit. Those are kind of the point of lay. These guys have been laying, so they're going to need more food, more energy to keep laying eggs. So I'll probably run the experiment again at some point with the Americanas, and I'm sure that feed costs will go up and just the amount of food that they're eating, but it's pretty wild looking at these numbers here. Howdy y'all, today is March 1st at Tractor Supply. Really quick, I cleaned them out of their 6.5 foot T-posts, so we're only able to get 14. Need at least 150-ish more, so a little short on that, but at least we've got 14. Picked up a bunch of wire, cleaned them out of a lot of things in there. A lot of people doing fence right now, so glad to get what I got. So since they were short on T-posts, we're still gonna drive some in today, but this back fence only has the 3 lines on it. I'm gonna go ahead and put in the other 2 lines first, and then we'll work on pounding the 14 T-posts that they had. Plus I had 2 extra from this back line, so we'll get a little something done on another fence line, but just gotta wait till they have more T-posts in. see if I can do this one-handed. So you have this fancy little tool. You can honestly use a screwdriver to get these to work, but they do have a hole right here, which makes it pretty convenient. So for these clips, you put everything over the top, you stick this in, and you push it down. So it bends it in. You can go more if you want, less, it doesn't really matter. And then you take the little hole, slide it through the other side here, and pull it down like that. This fence looks real nice. It is done. So you got the top, middle, and bottom lines that'll be electrified, and then the 2 dead lines, second up, second down. 5 lines total. Looks like a Jurassic Park fence. Not any cows or critters going through that. Maybe a deer will run into it. Hopefully not. You never know about deer though. They're always tearing up electric fence. But I'm really happy with this. It looks nice. So now we're working on this side of the fence. It goes kind of right in the middle of those trees. I'm going to take the one closest to me standing here, and then the one on the road. I'm not going to fence off. So right now we've got a T-post driven in front of that tree. You can kind of see the white against the tree trunk there. So we've got one wire stretched here, and we kind of just wanted to get it, see where it was looking at the property line because we didn't bring our transom. So this is pretty close, and we've got it stretched out here. So we're going to start driving a few T-posts. We're going to probably play with this line just a little bit more, bounce it up and down to make sure it's good and straight, and then we'll start pounding. Checking on these guys now. I'm kind of curious to see what they do if I just leave the door open. So far, a couple takers. Well, y'all, the fence is done on the backside. It was a beautiful sunny day. 71 degrees is fantastic. It was in a cutoff. Got a little bit much sun, so it's nice, good sunburn coming on. Definitely feel it on the shoulder. I got it on my neck a little bit too, but very productive day. It's a good feeling to have that done. We started going down a little bit, but once again, we didn't have too many T-posts to keep on going any further. So the next couple days might just work on some support posts, mapping out the garden, things like that. Just until Tractor Supply gets some more T-posts in. I don't want to run all over town looking for T-posts, so there's no huge rush on the fence, just kind of nice to get going on it. Today is March 3rd, and it has been raining non-stop all day. It is a literal swamp out here. It's disgusting. Get back to the chicken coop that is probably underwater. The water you can actually see is literally running towards the coop. It's nasty. Some things are floating away. Chickens are definitely sitting in water. Oh my goodness. Look at that. That's amazing. Let's get back in here. That is a lot of water. The beehive is swamped. It is disgusting. I actually have an extension cord laying in the water there. Should probably get that out. So yeah, needless to say, I'm not letting the chickens out because they would float away on me. So I'm just gonna go in, see if they need bedding. It's built up, but this is a lot of water. So we'll see how they're looking. Not too bad. I don't want to go after the chickens. Ooh, no, never mind. It's kind of bad. So underneath the water here, food. Got some water that came in, and over here some water's coming in a little bit. So I'm going to grab some bedding and bed everybody down. Yesterday I didn't do any recording, but I switched their water out because I was filling that big one up completely full every day, and I was coming back and it was dumped out. They were just splashing it all on the ground. They're kind of acting like ducks. They were just a mess with it. So I reduced them down to a gallon water, and they actually still have a lot left, so they just can't knock it around as easy. Let's go see what the Americanos look like. Hopefully not as bad. They've definitely got some water around the coop, but it's not standing water quite like this. It's a little drier. Definitely still some water though. A little bit at the door here where they run around. These guys wouldn't float away completely, but I bet the inside of their coop's gross because they are not bedded down as well as the buffs and marins. I just put a full bag in here yesterday though. Actually doesn't look too terrible. You can tell it's damp, but they're not swimming, so that's a good thing. So I'm gonna grab everybody some bedding, do food and water, grab eggs. See what we got here. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, and the one brown one, poor oddball chicken, laying in that nest all alone. So we're getting close to all these gals starting to lay. So the chickens are already going up for the day. Got some bedding in here. It's still damp. It pretty much soaked it up really quick, so I definitely need to get some more. There's just so much water out there. I had things floating away, so I got that all cleaned up. I did unplug those extension cords so they're not just laying out there under a foot of water. When I built these coops, especially the buff coop here, I didn't realize it was the lowest possible spot on the property. I found that out the hard way the first spring that I went through with this coop. The Americanas are slightly better, but yeah, it's really wet out here right now. But it'll dry out the next couple days. They'll be good. So it was a productive week. This is definitely a big difference between 70 degrees to 40 degrees. This is actually going to turn into a wintry mix, so it could get kind of icy and gross. It's March in Indiana, so happy for the 70-degree day we did have this week. Got a lot done with that. This jacket's actually still killing my sunburn because it's rubbing on it. Crazy to have a sunburn and it's freezing out. But yeah, so good week. Chickens are going to bed, and I'm going to bed here soon too. So I'll see you guys next week.